Yo, what's good everybody? This is Rocklan here, welcome back to a brand new video. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to make custom cinematics and animations for your CS2 montages and edits. In this video, I'm going to show you two methods to create the cinematics, so hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be able to create a cinematic even if one of the methods doesn't work for you. I'm going to keep this tutorial pretty basic, so hopefully everyone will be able to follow along and understand what I'm doing. If you guys would like some more advanced tutorials in the future, then do let me know, and I can make some more videos where I go in depth about certain settings and tips and tricks on how to get exactly what you're looking for. But without any further ado, let's get into the video and I'll show you the first method. Okay, so for the first method, we're going to be using a tool called HLAE or Half-Life Advanced Effects. I'll leave a link to this website in the description, advancedeffects.org/download, and you'll be able to download the tool here. What HLAE is essentially just a tool that injects custom commands into your game so that you can do things like record the gameplay and export it with different layers, unlock advanced camera controls and create custom camera paths, as well as add extra effects like reshade and stuff like that. It was originally built for Half-Life and CSGO on the Source engine, and in those games you'll get to utilize the full power of HLAE and all that it can offer. However, as CS2's only recently released and is using the Source 2 engine, there's very limited functionality within HLAE in CS2 at the moment, but over time I'm sure the devs will keep working on it and eventually we'll get all of the stuff that we had inside of CSGO in CS2 as well. But lucky for us, one of the things that we do have in CS2 at the moment is custom cam paths, which is what we're going to be using for this tutorial. So to get started, you just download the current release of HLAE here, so click on this and scroll down and you'll see HLAE setup.exe and just click to download that. But please be aware, the way that HLAE works is technically a hack and you may get VAC banned if you join any online servers, so be careful not to do that. But this tutorial will be using offline demos, so it's completely fine and you don't have to worry about installing this and then getting banned later on. As long as you don't launch the game through HLAE and join public servers, then you won't get banned. If you just launch it through Steam as normal, you'll be fine, as the custom DLL is only injected when we launch it through HLAE, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So just to make you aware, if this is something you're uncomfortable with, then follow the second method, but you should be fine for the most part. Okay, so now we've downloaded HLAE, just click on the executable you downloaded, and it's going to say Windows protected this PC. Because this is technically a hack, Windows isn't going to like it, but it is completely safe, so just hit more info and then run anyway, and you'll see here we've got the installer. For me, I've already installed it, so it's only giving me the options to repair and uninstall. For you, it will probably say something about reinstalling FFmpeg, so just press yes to that, and then when it asks you which type of install you want, there'll be typical, custom or full. Just select typical and next through all the options and install it, and then once it's done, in your start menu you should see HLAE. So if you just search for HLAE, if it's not there, navigate to your C drive, program files x86, HLAE, scroll down and you'll see HLAE.exe here. And now all we're going to do is double click on it to open it up. And now previously what you would do for CSGO is come up to file and launch CSGO, but because we're using CS2, we're going to need to create a custom loader. So come up to tools, developer, custom loader, and inside this custom loader, just browse, and we're going to want to find where our CS2 executable is. So in my case, it's on my secondary disk, inside Steam library, Steam apps, common, Counterstrike Global Offensive, game, bin, Win64, and you'll see cs2.exe right here. So just hit open on that. And then in DLLs to inject, just press browse, and inside the HLAE folder, navigate into x64, and at the top you'll see AFX hook source 2, and make sure you select the source 2 one because CS2 is on the source 2 engine, and hit open. Now in the command line, just copy what I've got here, so -steam -insecure, which is basically telling the game that you're running it with a hack, and hopefully VAC won't ban you for it. But again, I wouldn't have 100% faith in this, so just make sure you don't join any online games. svlan1 -console -novid -sw, and then width and height, these are going to be your resolution for the game. So it's going to open in windowed mode at this resolution, so 1920 by 1080. I have a 1440p monitor, so this will be a small window in the middle of my screen. So change this to whichever resolution you want to capture your cinematics in. And now all we're going to do is hit OK. You'll see it will start to launch CS2, and as you can see, CS2 is launched. To check that we've got HLAE installed, make sure you open up your console. If you don't know how to open your console, in settings, game, make sure you have developer console enabled, and you may want to pick a key for the console. And then all you do is press that key to open up the console and just type in mirv, M-I-R-V, and if you've got these commands enabled, then HLAE is successfully injected, and you'll have access to the commands that you'll need for this video. Now for this video we're going to be using CS2 demos, so if you go to watch your games, you'll see in the corner there's a download button. It says that mine's expired and is no longer available. At the moment, as CS2's just launched, I believe Valve have disabled the ability to download demos to free up their servers to facilitate more players, but hopefully if you're watching this in the future they'll have enabled that and you'll be able to download it. Alternatively, you can download your demos by going into Steam, clicking on your profile, then Games, find CS2, and then My Game Stats, look for your personal data, and then in Premier Matches and in competitive matches and ranked competitive matches as well, in this corner there will be a download button to download your demos there too. And then all you need to do is download it, extract it into your CS folder, and you'll be able to view the demos inside the game. Because the demos aren't available at the minute, what I did is launched a game with bots, and then in the console you can type record and then the name of the demo file. So say I just called it tutorial demo, like that. Pressed enter to start recording, and then when you want to stop recording you just type stop, and it will have saved the demo for you. So for me, I've already recorded a demo in a game of bots, and I believe it's called new demo. So to watch the demo, I'm just going to type play demo, new demo, and press enter, and it's going to load me into my demo file. Now once you've loaded in, type in demo UI and then click the pause button, and you'll see we've now got this demo UI where we can scroll through our demo, go between the rounds, adjust the speed, and obviously play and pause. And now that we've paused our game, we can start using HLAE to create a custom cam path. So we're going to start by typing in SV_cheats1 to enable cheats. Then we're going to type third person, and you'll see that's put our camera in third person. And now we'll type in merv_input camera. That's now going to put us into the custom HLAE camera. So with this camera we can use WASD to move around and the arrow keys to look around. You can change the sensitivity of these settings, so if you really wanted to you could just use this free cam and record that, but for me I'm going to create a custom cam path and have it animate itself. You'll be able to see all of the keybinds here. So you can see they've been hard-coded. This is in the documentation for HLAE on GitHub. I'll put a link to this in the description as well. It also shows all the commands that are currently available in CS2. So there's only 6 at the minute, but this will expand over time as the developers integrate each of the features into the Source 2 engine. So I'm going to start by positioning my camera where I want to start the cinematic from, and I'm going to add a keyframe. And essentially what a keyframe is at this moment in time, which you can see down here, so at 7 seconds, I want the camera to be in this position, and we're going to add 4 keyframes as that's the minimum you need to create a custom cam path. And then throughout the clip it will animate from each of those positions, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. So let's add our first position. So we're going to do merv_cam path add, and then if we do merv_cam path print, you'll see here this is our first keyframe, so it tells us the position, the FOV, and everything like that. Now what we're going to do with the console open, because if you close it you'll see the mouse gets stuck to the middle, so I'm going to keep the console open and I'm going to hit play, the character run a little bit and pause it, come out of the console, and then I'm going to move to the next position that I want my camera to be. So let's say something like this, and we're going to open the console again and type in merv cam path add, and now you'll see if we print, we've now got 2 ID 0 and ID 1, which shows our position and FOV and everything of the second keyframe. If you want to change the FOV, you can use page up and page down on the keyboard to change the FOV of the camera, and Z and X to roll the camera like this. So let's play the video a bit more. So I want to watch where my character goes. It's going to run around the corner, and now let's move our camera something like this and have it roll slightly as well, just like that. And again we're going to add the cam path and print it, so you can see we've got 3 keyframes now, and now let's go ahead and add a 4th one. So we'll pause it again, and we'll say that that's going to be our final camera position. So let's add it and print it, and you can see we've got our 4 keyframes. Now to ensure we don't lose these positions in case the game crashes, because HLAE is a bit unstable because it's, you know, being built for a new engine, and CS2's demo viewer is a bit unstable as well, we're just going to save it to a file. So we're going to do merv_cam path, and we're going to type save and then give it a name. So I'm going to call mine tutorial path tutorial path like that and press enter, and you'll see saving okay. And now we've saved our camera path. So in an ideal world, what I would do now is go back in time and press escape. You'll see it will go back to the third person camera. Ideally, what I would do is go back in time, enable the custom camera path, and then start recording it. But unfortunately, because CS2 or HLAE, one of them is a bit buggy, if I try and rewind it, you'll see I now get this error, which is exactly why we saved the cam path. So if I press OK, you'll see CSGO is going to crash, but that's fine because we'll just load the demo up again, load the cam path, and we'll watch it from the beginning. So tools, developer, custom loader, OK. And now all we're going to do is play demo, new demo. And it's important that as soon as we get in, we enable the demo UI and pause it. So now we've paused it, we can get ready to enable our cam path. So let's sv_cheats 1 third person, and let's remove this build info down here. So r_show build info 0, we'll then remove that. And let's also hide the HUD except for the kills. So let's do cl_draw only death notices 1. You'll see that'll hide all the HUD except for our kill feed. Let's do merv_cam path load, and I called it tutorial path. And now if we do merv_cam path print, you'll see we've got our 4 keyframes that we added before. Now all I'm going to type in is merv_cam path enabled 1, and that's going to enable our cam path. And now I need to get ready to record it. So whether you're going to use OBS or Shadowplay or whatever software you're going to use, start it up and get it onto CSGO. So I'm going to give a go at Shadowplay. So let's start recording, and then I'm going to type in demo UI. I'm going to press play and then enter demo UI quickly to hide this as well. So play. And there was our custom cam path. See, I've run into that error again. So I'm just going to stop my recording, and CSGO closes just like that. So now if I navigate to where Shadowplay saved my recording, I can double click on it here. And you'll see here's my recording. I've left the crosshair enabled, which was a silly mistake. When you type in the only show death notices command, you could also type in cl_crosshair alpha 0 to remove the crosshair, or just turn it off in the settings. But here you go. This is our custom cam path inside of CS2. All I would do now is just crop in to this window, or have just set it to record just that window. And there you go. That is how to create a custom cam path inside of CS2 using this very early version of HLAE. Okay, so that's it for the first method of the video. Now we're going to move on to the second method. But just before we do that, I know if you're watching this video, you want to create CSGO frag movies, montages, edits, whatever it is, you're going to need some great music to go with it. And it's always hard to find music that you like and that you want to use in your edits without getting a copyright strike. Now, lucky for you, that's no longer a problem thanks to this video's sponsor, Licked. Licked is the ultimate solution to supercharge your YouTube videos with mainstream music. With a vast music library boasting over 1.3 million mainstream songs, Licked has got you covered no matter the content you make. Now you can legally license and download tracks from some of the world's biggest artists. As YouTubers, we know the YouTube algorithm rewards longer watch times, and what better way to keep your audience hooked than with some awesome, recognizable music. But don't just take my word for it. Boost your engagement like some of the top YouTubers like The Sidemen, Mr. Beast and Logan Paul, who are already using Licked. If you don't download and license your music legally, you're playing a risky game with YouTube's content ID system, and trust me, you don't want to get your video flagged. This can lead to demonetization, limited reach, region bans, or even a copyright strike on your channel. But with Licked, you no longer have to worry. Licked is the must-have tool in your creative toolbox, so why wait any longer? It's time to take your content to the next level. Licked is offering an exclusive 50% discount off your first mainstream track purchase, along with a free 14-day access to their extensive stock music collection. That's right, a 50% discount and free access for 14 days. So grab this opportunity and check out Licked with the link at the top of the video's description and elevate your content today. Okay, so now for method 2 of the video, let's open up Steam. Now inside our Steam library, we're going to right click on CS2, go to Properties, DLC, and make sure you click where it says Counter-Strike 2 Workshop Tools, make sure you enable that. And then you'll see it will start downloading 600 megabytes or so of the workshop tools. Once that's downloaded, click on play, and you'll now get the option to play Counter-Strike 2 or Counter-Strike 2 Workshop Tools. So select the workshop tools and hit play. Now for this second method, we're going to be using a software called CS2 Filmmaker, which is the CS2 version of Source Filmmaker, if you've heard of that before. I've made lots of previous videos on Blender, so if you know what Blender is, essentially think of CS2 CS2 Filmmaker as Blender for Source 2 games, if that makes any sense. You can create custom models and animations and stuff inside the Source 2 engine, and in our case inside CS2. And essentially what you're going to want to do on this workshop tools screen is create a new add-on if you haven't already. I'm not quite sure if this is necessary, but I've created a test add-on and it should select it as its default. Again, not sure if you have to do this, but I have, so just in case, go ahead and do that. And then down here in the bottom right corner, just click on Launch Tools. Now you'll see it will start to open up CS2 in this little window here. And here we go, now we have the asset browser open. All you're going to want to do now is come up here to the top and you'll see we have these different options. So we've got Hammer for making maps, Material Editor, Model Dock, Post-Processing Editor, and right here, Source Filmmaker. So click on that, you'll see it's going to open up Source Filmmaker. Create a session, call it whatever you want. So mine's going to be called Tutorial, and change the frame rate to whatever you'd like your cinematic to be at. So in my case, 60 FPS. And you can leave the directory as it is or save it somewhere else. It's up to you. I'm just going to leave it where it is and I'm going to click create, and you'll be dropped into a window that looks like this. So this sort of setup should be familiar to you if you've worked with sort of Cinema 4D, Blender, Maya, something like that. It's just our 3D animation software, but this is specifically for the Source 2 engine. And in order to create a cinematic, we're going to need a map. So let's start by doing that. So let's right click in the viewport, hit set session map, and you'll see here we have all of our maps from CS2. So for this tutorial, I think we will use Inferno. So we're going to select DE Inferno and press accept. And if you give it a second, you'll see inside of our viewport, we've now got Inferno. So you can see we're kind of up in the second mid apartments. So if you hold right click on your mouse in the viewport and move your mouse around, you'll be able to pan around, and then use WASD to move around. So you'll see we are currently on Inferno and we can fly about the map and look at whatever we want with the lovely Source 2 detail and lighting. You can change the FOV by holding right click. If you move the mouse around and then use the scroll wheel, you'll be able to change the FOV just like that. And now let's start our cam path. So I think we're going to want to start sort of around here, maybe go around this corner and end up in library, I suppose. That works. Again, you can choose, to do whatever you want to do. So I'm going to say the camera's going to start here. And now we need to add keyframes to our camera. So in order to do that, we need to create an animation set. So let's go to the animation set editor, right click, create animation set for new camera, and you'll see camera 2. Make sure you select that, and over in the viewport tab, let's select this and do change scene camera and select camera 2. Again, I'm going to try and keep this as basic as possible. If you guys would like some more in-depth tutorials into Source Filmmaker, then do let me know. I can teach you how to create custom frag movies, import custom models, do character animations, all sorts, whatever you want to know. Just let me know down in the comments and I can make some tutorials on that. But for the sake of this tutorial, we're just focusing on creating cinematics, so we're going to keep it nice and simple. So once we've created our camera and we've got it selected, you can see we've got all of these settings over here. All we really care about is the position, and we can control the position by flying around in the viewport as we were earlier. So as long as we've got our camera 2 selected, we will now be able to fly around and change its position. So in order to do that, we need to set keyframes. So over here under the timeline, let's go into the graph editor. And if you're familiar with Blender, then this should look familiar to you. You can see we've got our little light gray area, which is our work area. So we've got 60 seconds worth of clip here. Again, we can expand or contract that by dragging these boxes. If you want to zoom in and out, use the scroll wheel. You can pan around by dragging on the bar down here, or there's the panning hand here as well. This is our toolbar. So we've got our different tools, and then these are our different interpolation modes for our keyframes. So again, we're going to keep this very simple and not bother with any of these. Just going to create a simple cam path. So let's start by adding a keyframe, or in Source Filmmaker they're called bookmarks. So let's add a bookmark, and then let's drag our playhead, along 2 seconds. Actually, let's do 1.5 seconds, something like that. And now up in the viewport, again, right click to move the camera around, and we're going to fly to this corner, as if we're going to fly around the corner. If you hold R on your keyboard and move the mouse, you'll be able to rotate it. So let's do something like that. And you'll see it's automatically added a keyframe for us here. So if we drag the playhead around, you'll see our camera path starts moving like this. Let's go forward to 4 seconds and move our camera into the library. Hold R and let's put it straight again and have it sort of finish about here. And you'll see again, it's added another keyframe automatically. Let's drag our playhead back and let's play our animation. And there you go, you can see we've made a custom camera path. On the graph editor, you'll see these curves. Essentially, this is the speed of the keyframes. You see these different colored options over here correspond to the different position keyframes. So if we select them all, you'll see these are our position keyframes. You can drag and adjust these using the move tool however you like, and play around with the interpolation. But I'm going to leave it as default because it already smooths them out quite well. If you want to adjust the timing of any of these, say, you know, this keyframe in the middle, we can adjust it so that it's much slower to get to this first point and then speeds up, but I quite like it as it was originally. You may want to avoid going into foliage and stuff like this, and you can do that by just adjusting. So in my case, this is going to be the X position, so let's just drag that forwards a little bit like that, and you'll see now we avoid going in that foliage and fly around the corner just like this. So I'm happy with this animation. So let's put our playhead on our last keyframe, which is here, and then we're going to go back to our clip editor, zoom out, and we're going to drag our clip down to where our playhead is and drag the shot down just like that, so that now we have our final movie, which is that. And then to save it, all we're going to want to do is come up to File, Export Movie, Save. If you guys would like an in-depth tutorial on all of the render settings, then do let me know, but for the most part you should be able to tell what these do. So, you know, if you want your depth of field, we haven't played around with the focal length of the camera in this tutorial, but you know, you can turn that on, off, motion blur, anti-aliasing, whatever. I'm just going to leave everything on default for the sake of the tutorial, and we're going to export as PNG for lossless compression. Our resolution is going to be 1920 by 1080. The duration is going to be our sequence, which we have at 4 seconds. As you can see, it finishes at a 4-second mark, and now we're going to choose where to save it. So I'm just going to create a new folder in here, and we're going to call this tutorial export. Go into that folder and we'll just call it a camera path, just like that, and save. So PNG 1920 by 1080, the right duration, perfect, perfect, perfect. And we're going to click on export movie. Now, as you can see, it's exporting frame by frame. We've got some pretty extreme motion blur there. But again, that's because our camera's moving quite quickly. So, you know, if you wanted to turn that off, then go ahead. And you'll see this bar at the bottom here moving slowly across, and the time remaining 6.4 minutes. So I'll wait for this to finish and I'll be back with you once it's done. Okay, so as you can see, it's just finished exporting. And inside my export folder, you can see I have all of the individual frames that have exported. So if I just flick through them like this, you can see we've got the animation. Now, to actually use this, we need to put it back into a video. So I'm going to open up Adobe Premiere Pro. You could use After Effects, Premiere Pro, Sony Vegas, DaVinci Resolve, whatever software you're using. Just open up your editing software. If you'd like to use Adobe Premiere Pro, then I'll leave a link down in the description where you can go and get it. And then once your software is open, just import your footage. So in Premiere Pro, I'm going to right click in the project bin, click on import. I'm going to find where the images were exported. I'm going to select one of the images, and you'll see it's automatically going to tick image sequence. If it doesn't, make sure you tick that. And I'm going to press open, and you'll see it will have imported the entire image sequence. Now what I'm going to do is right click on it, click on modify, and then interpret footage. And I'm going to click assume this frame rate, and I'm going to set it to 60 FPS because that's what we set it to inside of Source Filmmaker. And you'll see it will make the duration of 4 seconds, which again is what we exported it as. I'm going to press OK, right click, new sequence from clip, and you'll see here now if I play, we've got our cam path inside of Adobe Premiere Pro, ready to be used in whatever edit we're making. And there you go, that's pretty much it for this video. I've shown you 2 methods to create custom cam paths and cinematics inside of CS2. If you guys did enjoy this video or found it useful, make sure to drop a like on it and subscribe for more videos just like this. Check out my previous video where I show you my top 5 effects for your CS2 montages. Leave a comment with any future video ideas that you'd like to see on the channel, as well as check out Licked with the link at the top of the description. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.